Subscribe now.
Hey everybody, thanks for stopping by. Today's project, we're jumping right into it. I'm going to do a majority of this is going to be voiceover today. Reason being is as I went through this project, I changed my mind a lot. So the easiest way for me to kind of walk you through this is just explain what I'm doing and each stage give you a brief overview and let you watch me complete those projects or those tasks. Right now, what we're doing, we are resawing some of the oak stair treads that I have. I'm cutting these down to accommodate a 9-inch diameter disc. I At the time I thought I was going to turn a 9-inch diameter piece. Turns out by the end of the video it gets significantly smaller, at least in diameter. Um, but yeah, we're gonna cut up, ends up being 6 layers of this, so it's 6 inches tall. Right here I'm just aligning the grains, trying to figure out exactly what I want to do as far as the alignment's concerned. Once I decide, we move inside and we start laminating those layers together, and we'll pick it up from there. Let's move all this stuff inside where it's warm, get myself warm. We'll glue up some layers, we'll get some clamps on, and then we'll warm up. We'll come back out here and hopefully do some turning. Quick little tidbit here. What I'm doing right there, you saw briefly, I'm just rubbing 2 pieces of sandpaper together. What that does is drop off bits of the sand, if you will. That acts essentially like you've seen people use salt between their glue ups to help once you put the clamps on, make sure it doesn't move around. Same idea here. You rub those 2 pieces of sandpaper together, you get the sand to drop on there. And that helps to make sure they don't move around once you get the clamps on. And as you can see from the tapping of the glue bottle, I did run out of glue during this glue up on this particular evening. So I just glued the 2 pieces that came from the same tread together. So that made 3 smaller blocks, if you will. Just put them all together for clamping purposes. Next morning went out and got a new bottle of glue. However, I'm glad this happened because prior to running out of glue, I was considering putting veneer between the sets of 2. But as I laid in bed that evening, the idea came to me that I wanted to do intersecting wavy lines on this piece. Um, so that's what we started this day off. The plan that we started off once this day got underway. So after gluing the block up completely, letting it dry, here's when we go out to the bandsaw. So my camera work wasn't the greatest on this, so I've done a freeze frame here so I can walk you through what you're looking at. The base there is a 1 by I've got it started on my bandsaw about halfway through, so that creates a zero clearance plate, if you will. I've got that clamped down, and then I have a screw running up from underneath that 1x6 into another piece of 1x material. That I have a double side tape attached to my block, so that is creating a pivot point to which I can start my material in, and it will create a semicircle. So you're seeing here as I progress through this cut, it's creating a semicircle at the top edge here. That's what's going to help create the wavy lines, at least one of the wavy lines. And then we'll do the same process, but we'll flip it 90 degrees to create the other wavy line, and then we'll go from there. Okay, after completing that cut, what I'm doing before I remove the block from the smaller pivot point 1x material is I'm going to take my marking knife. I'm going to create a line right at the edge of that and remove that tape. Reason being is because when I flip this 90 degrees and put this block back on for the second cut, I want it to be in the same general vicinity of the first cut. So that way these lines are intersecting almost perpendicular, if you will. I don't really know the perfect way to say this, perpendicular-ish, but that'll get it lined up on the next go round.
Yeah. So we've got a curve. Once again, it's not very centered, but you know, a lopsided circle it shall be. So now all we need to do is glue on some of our veneer between these two half circles, or whatever you want to call them. And then we'll come back out here and we'll do another cut just like that, except for this time, instead of this way, we'll rotate it 90 degrees and cut it this way. Do the same thing again. So let's go inside, start warming up a little bit, and glue some veneer. While we wait for that to dry, I got a hot tip on where there might be some lumber available pretty close to my house here. So we're going to go on a little adventure. We're going to see if we can't maybe score some wood. This is an undercover mission. I don't have permission to be back here right now. And Old Man Green might be keeping an eye out for me, so don't tell him. Shh. We're going to have to go stealth mode. I had to change my plan. The first thing I did was turn the corner, and one of the greens were out there. Going the back way. I think it might be an attack rabbit. Grizzlies. Pumas. Jackpot. That's a squirrel. Might be an attack squirrel. Old Mr. Green's been known to capture and train the squirrels in the art of ninjutsu. That could be used for something. Who's there? Walnut. Score. Gotta stay ready. Tuck and roll. Safe. Stealth mode activated. Mission status. Reconnaissance complete. Lumber level epic. Once the snow melts completely, I'm bringing a chainsaw down here.
Hey, Griswold, where do you think you're going to put a tree that big? Bend over and I'll show you.
And we'll have some blanks to turn. Don't tell Mr. Green. Let's get out of here before he starts shooting at us. America. Fuck yeah. I don't think he saw us. I'm perfectly camouflaged. He might think it's just a winded wolf. A wolf that needs a little more exercise. Operation Deep Woods Undercover. Complete success. I was able to recon a large amount of what on first sight appears to be some fairly valuable timber. There's definitely some very large diameter stuff down there. Talking 3-4 foot diameter. Some smaller stuff. And the best part of all, I was able to remain completely unseen thanks to my superior stealth abilities. Like a ninja in the night. Oh, okay. The bad news is, even though it's almost 50 degrees today, it's still really cold. And I haven't moved at all winter. So my lungs hurt. And I thought I was going to die a couple times. But now I know where Mr. Green keeps his bounty. We're going to have plenty to do this summer.
Man, I had way too much fun making that little clip. So the rest of the video here, it's very self-explanatory. Basically, we're just taking the blank that we made, turning it on the lathe to get it to the desired shape that we have in mind. I will say the oak from the stair tread here did present a very big challenge for me on the lathe. It was very dry, very seasoned wood, very dusty, but it was hard as a rock. And with the traditional tools, I was getting a ton of tear out. I did resort to carbide tools in a few spots, but really the only thing that worked out really well was the scraper and a lot of sanding. It was pretty nasty stuff as far as tear out and dust was concerned. So made sure to use my dust collector, made sure to use a face shield, but we got through it, and in the end it turned out very nice. We got a good finish on it with all the sanding, and I'm very happy with how it turned out. So enjoy the rest of the video here and let me know if you have any questions.
I didn't expect